Hello everybody, it's FarmSim Guy here, hope you're all doing well. Well, we have been very busy in the background having a play with Sim Dashboard, really getting under the skin of the new things that have been added to it for FS22 and some of the new logic that works, and I think I've come up with some of my best work here. I'm really pleased with this, and I hope you guys are too. So we've taken a little bit of a departure from our usual John Deere screens, and we have built ourselves the FendtONE screen, and I went as far as looking on the Fendt site and checking out how it looked. I've tried to replicate it as much as I could possibly do that. Obviously there's some limitations with what I can do in FS22 and some of the controls to keep it, you know, as functional as possible. So here we go, we'll have a quick run through it. Now, usual caveats of course apply. No, Sim Dashboard is not available on iOS, unfortunately. 2, if the buttons don't work, first port of call for you is probably to make sure that you have not edited any of your keybinds. This works with base game keybinds. And 3, remember, if you want to get the community screens, you do have to pay for the pro version. It's a few dollars, it's not too much, and to be honest, I think you'll get hours of gameplay out of it and it'll be well worth the investment. So there we go, now we've covered those off, let's take a look at the screen. So we'll demonstrate some of this in action in a little while, but if we go from the top left corner there, we have got the 3 bars there is the menu, we've got the time, we've got X and Y coordinates, which I know some people like to have, and then on the other side of the green bar there, just the temperatures, the day and night temperatures, the month that we're in, and zoom in and out buttons. All functional stuff, all working in real time. Then, just underneath that, back to the left there, we have broken out the front and the rear hitch separately, and I'll demonstrate these in a little while. But these dials you can touch and are interactive, as well as the buttons. Center console there at the top is your engine and transmission, so you've got cruise control in there. It tells you how much fuel you're using per hour and how much DEF you're using per hour. You've got your RPMs in there. You've got your water temperature as well, and in the middle, that button there allows you to switch between your front and rear implements, as well as switching the tractor. And that actually was one of the things that took me the longest time to work out, because the buttons only have 2 states, but I've managed to make it work with 3 different states, so I'll demonstrate that in a little minute. Along the bottom there, some pretty basic stuff. Lighting, as you would expect, works as it works. You can see just under the lighting heading there, we've got a little spanner and 100%, which is showing you the damage of the tractor, so you can keep tabs of that as well. Now, this middle panel at the bottom is the one I'm really excited about, and the one that's had a lot of work go into it, and this really takes advantage of the logic now that is in Sim Dashboard for FS22. So it can show different states of different implements based on what inputs you put in there. So I'll demonstrate that in detail in a little minute. And then operations off to the bottom right hand corner there, everything from start your engine to uncover your trailer if you're using a trailer, force tip, some of the things you've seen in some of my other Sim dashboards. You can pull up the map, you can switch the camera, but the bottom 2 there, the far bottom left and the middle one on the bottom row there, they're really exciting for me, because obviously if you're running 2 implements, you can control them individually using your front hitch and your rear hitch. But if you want to, you can raise and lower them together, and you can power them up together as well. So you've got both options there. And then finally, along the bottom here, your GPS commands, so you can operate your GPS through this screen as well. And then you've obviously got your heading and the degrees you're pointing in. You can see the fuel icon there. That lights up when you're running low on fuel. That will be greyed out otherwise. And this empty space here, in fact, what I will do is I will just jump in the tractor here, is where it displays which vehicle you're in. So as you can see now, I'm in the Fendt 1050. It's showing Fendt 1050 in the bottom corner. If I quickly jump out of that, move to this one, and jump back in, you can see here the Fendt 724 Vario as well. So very interactive, lots of fun in that. Now we've got a few different tractors, I'm going to demonstrate a few different things. It does work with every tractor I've tried so far, even I've got a modded one over there, which we'll jump into in a little while and demonstrate as well. But for now, let's give you a good old demo of how this works. So here we are in our Fendt. What I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to, hopefully, my best bet at trying to get you to see both the tractor and the screen working together. So with that in mind, let's fire up the tractor, and I have got the touch motion switched on my tablet, so you should just about be able to see the touches I do with my finger highlighted on the tablet. It isn't particularly clear, but hopefully it will work. So first things first, let's fire up the tractor. So that is the engine button in the operations panel. So if I touch this, you'll see it turns to green. You'll see your RPMs and your water temperature start rising. You'll also see here that there is a green light in the middle of the speedometer, and you'll see that the middle button there in the top middle panel is highlighting the tractor. And the reason it's highlighting the tractor is because we don't have a front or a rear implement on, and even if I press that button, it doesn't change. So what we're going to do, we're going to roll backwards a little bit till we get our identifier to tell us that we can attach our mower, and that is what we will do. So mower attached, and as you can see in the bottom middle panel there, in the rear tool section, that display is switched to red to tell us that that is attached. Now they aren't buttons, they are just information to tell you what's happening with your relevant implements. Okay, we're going to roll forward now as well, pick up our front implement. You can see the trigger at the bottom there, so let's collect that, and again you can see the light changes and it's telling us we have our front implement on. Now notice that the icon for switching tools in the middle there has switched to green for the front, and we are sitting on the front tool, and it will also show you in the front hitch panel there that little green light in the top right hand corner of that first panel. Now let's just scroll through these and I'll show you what happens. So if I press the middle button here, it switches to the middle, and as you can see there it's switched to the tractor, and the green light has gone on in the middle of the speedometer. We press it again, it goes to the rear hitch, and you can see the rear hitch is highlighted in the button, but also the light has gone on at the top there as well. Now a few things we can do here. Let's leave it on the rear hitch for now, and let's unfold the rear, and I press the button at the top there and it unfolds, and as you'll see in a second, when it finishes unfolding, that button will turn to green, but also our information screen in the middle at the bottom tells us that that is unfolded now as well. And as you can see, this dynamic text changes. So if you look at the front tool there, which is still folded, it says folded. Now if I switch to my front tool and press the unfold button, you see it switches. So there we go. Now we have other options here. We could fire up the front hitch, and you can see that the running light came on at the bottom there, the blue running light. I can turn that off. I can switch to my rear implement. I can fire up the rear implement, and you can see it's telling us that that is running, but the front one is not because we powered it down, so I can power that back down again. I can also lower these, so if I've a couple of options here. I've got a button here which allows me to lower them, as you can see. When I press that again it raises them, or I can touch the dial, and you can see that that dial animates, so the arrow is pointing down when the implement is down, or up when it's pointing up. You can also see just above that dial, we've got 96% there and a tiny little spanner. That tells you how much damage your implement has got as well, and that works for front and back, and then you can see the name of the implement you've got attached as well, both front and back. Very quickly as well, while we're here, I will try and demo the light. So we've got headlights, which you can see there. We've got our front work lights, so lots of lights there shining. If I spin around to the back here, you've got your rear work lights as well. You can turn your beacons on, and again you can see these interactive buttons now change. My older dashboards, there was no signal to tell you whether they were turned on or turned off, but again the logic in 22 and in Sim Dashboard Update has allowed us to do this now. And finally here we've got our warning lights, our hazard lights as well, and you can see that button in fact flashes, so lovely touch there. So I'll go around and turn all of those off because it's the middle of the day. And what we'll do, we'll roll over to the field and I'll give you a little bit of a demonstration about how this works. So, and we'll use some of the other ideas as well. So for example, the lowering both implements at once, and I'll show you how that works. So let's get ourselves lined up here. Let's zoom out enough so you can see it. Now what I want to do here, we've got both implements attached and unfolded. What we're going to do now is probably fire both of them up, and what I'm not going to do is do them individually this time. What I will do is use the button in the bottom right operations screen, and as you can see it spools both of them up and both of those running lights came on straight away. And what I'm also going to do now is I'm going to press the next button along, and that will lower them both. And as you can see, that is running too. So very handy to have that tool. Now I can just pull forward here and just drive away if I wanted to, but I don't want to do that. What we'll do, we'll set the cruise control. That's all set up. So what I'm going to do now is turn on the GPS. Again, this is the button in the bottom left hand corner. Now you can't see again my speedometer because it's hidden by the corner of the sim dashboard screen, but my blue light has come on that activates GPS. So what I can do now is set my A point. So I press AB twice, and as you can see there, I've got my A. You probably won't be able to see actually because it's so tiny, but just under the tracks there is my A point. So I can pull forward my necessary 15 meters, and you can see the dotted line going from A to B, slightly hidden by the mower. Now when I get to a point that I'm happy with, I can press that again. And you can see as well there that the blue lines are slightly narrower than the implement, so I can press the 3 dotted lines next to the 90 degrees here, and that will just bump them out ever so slightly. So all is running well there. That is set. Now I can turn on GPS by pressing the steering wheel, and you can hear it bleep there, and the line has changed to green. Now then, this is one of the things I really like about this. To turn on cruise control, if you want to run cruise control, you just tap the middle of the speedometer dial in the middle of the top middle panel. So if I tap that, it changes to green, and there you go, your tractor is off and running. So as you can see, the lights in the bottom middle panel all lit up there like a Christmas tree. Again, I've tried to match the Fendt screen in real life as much as possible. In fact, if I jump into the cab here, press the camera button at the bottom, you can see very similar. I've had to make some minor adjustments, but I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest. I really am. So it's as accurate as I could get it, and I think it's a really good complement to these tractors. And I have to say, the Fendt models in 22 I've been really impressed with. I think they're some of the best out there. So let's jump out here as we come to the end of this row, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to raise the mower. As we hear the bleep then of the headland, so we'll run to the very edge of the headland. Obviously I should have gone round a couple of times, but I've pressed my raise buttons there, and there you go, it's raised both implements. And then I can do a quick turn here. I could skip a row, or I could do a little reverse up, because of course with GPS running it will match your rows perfectly. So we'll just roll to the edge here, and I'm going to lower them both down again, pull forward, there we go, and you can see all the lights activate as and when you do different things. So there we go, running our second row. Not bad at all. Okay, so that is enough of the big Fendt. Let's park that for a second and let's go and jump in the little Fendt here. As you can see, as I jump in, it's already telling me that I've got both the Mega 1200 litre tank and the Mega 1200 litre sprayer attached. We've got the engine running because the light is green. We can see that so this is interesting with tools that don't have an unfold or fold state on the front. it will always show it as unfolded, so even though it doesn't need to be unfolded, it classes it as unfolded. Unfortunately, just one of the limitations I had to work with there. But again, everything works the same. If I just do a little turn around here, you can see the X and Y coordinates there moving as we turn. You can also see the direction, so we're pointing west now, we're about to turn to northwest, and you can see the degrees shifting as well. And as you were with the mower, we can unfold our tool. It's selected at the back here. You can see the green light is on the rear hitch. Let's just jump to middle, jump to front, and jump back to back, so you can see it working there. So again, we can unfold this. This should be quite good fun actually, because it's quite a wide implement. So there you go. It is expanding nicely there. And again, we can power this up, and it's just spraying, and off we go. Now of course it's classed as raised here because it's in a raised position. You don't need to lower this down to run it in the field. So obviously it's only lowered when you're dropping it off to detach it. And of course the front hitch, the tank on the front doesn't need PTO power. So if I touch that button there, all it'll do is power off the sprayer. And again, that is in the raised position when it's in place. So lots of nice little bits and pieces to do with this, but there you go. That is how it works with different implements. Of course, if you've got a weight on the front or something like that, it will just count that weight as a front implement. It'll sit as unfolded. It'll have the name at the top. You'll know what it's there for. So as you were. Now we're going to jump in the even smaller little Fendt here, and we're just going to demo you some of the more basic functions. So again, turn on the engine there. We will pull this forward, and we're going to go and unload this at a little grain silo we've got down here. So we'll haul it along here, and while we're on our way, the second button along there, you can see, covers and uncovers your trailer. We've got a pipe out option there if you're ever using an auger wagon, which is obviously redundant at this moment in time. But what we can do here, let's pull into here, we'll get this lined up. Of course, things like the raise and lower and the PTO not required for something like a trailer, but we'll pull over here, get it over the tipping point. Now you see the icon has popped up here. Of the two tipping trailer icons there, it is going to be the one underneath the engine that you press here, which will tip this into the silo. So there you go, that tips it into the silo like that. But we've got a force tip option as well, because I know a lot of people like to have that as an option as well. So if we just pull around here, obviously you wouldn't do this with grain, but just for the purposes of this demo, that force tip option means you don't have to be over a trigger to empty the trailer, and we'll just get a massive pile of wheat on the floor there. So there you go, that's how that works. And then finally, really, a button here for your minimap. There you go, and you can scroll through them like so, and the camera button, which we've already used, which pops you inside the cab. And again, you can see that Fendt screen there next to the joystick. We will look at doing this one next, I think. We'll get a GPS version up and running or something similar. But I really like this screen. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. Really enjoying it. There's even a nice speedometer one in the middle there. Maybe we'll do one of those as well and get the full complement. So back out of the cab. And so that's really it, to be honest. Lots and lots of stuff in there. Obviously the three lines at the top, if I touch that, it takes us to our menus, and the zoom in and zoom out here, as you can see, work as you would expect. So there we go, the FendtONE screen in Sim Dashboard for FS22. I hope you enjoy it. I've had a whole heap of fun pulling this together, and it's really kind of given me the impetus to tidy up some of my other screens, tweak some of my other screens. There is an update coming for the John Deere screen that I've already released as well, based on some user feedback, which has been much appreciated. But there we go. For now, from me, the FarmSim guy, this will be available to download. Links will be in the description. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.